Well, the future of 6 training workshops for the blind in the Western Cape hangs in the balance after the Department of Labour suspended millions of rands in subsidies. The Institute for the Blind in Worcester has lost 3.5 million rand annual subsidy that had been used for the day-to-day operations at their workshop. Mariska Botha is our reporter on that developing story, and we have on the line now. Good afternoon, Mariska, and welcome to the PM News Desk.
Good afternoon to you.
Do we know why these subsidies were cut? Any reaction from the Labour Department thus far, Mariska?
Well, thus far we haven't had any response from the Department of Labour yet. We have been trying to contact them since late this morning, but we went through to the Institute for the Blind, which is in Worcester. It's about 100 kilometers outside Cape Town in the Boerland. And there we spoke to Freddie Botha, who's the executive head of the Institute for the Blind. They've got about 7 workshops there that gives employment to around 280 people. They do the most interesting work. They weave rugs, they work with cane, they make all kinds of fruits and jams. So it's really people who are partially sighted and completely blind who do all kinds of craft work that gives them an income and a livelihood. And according to Freddie, they had a meeting last year in December with a surprise meeting with the Department of Labour, who came to do an inspection in Loco. They looked at their books, they looked at the names of people that were on the lists, and according to Mr. Botha, everything was in order. They were then told that they might have to tender for funding in future, but they shouldn't have to worry because it will not happen soon. Then in around March, they were told that they have 2 weeks to fill in a tender or go through the tender process. They complied. They flew up to Pretoria to be in the meeting where they had to present their tender. And for 2 months, they didn't hear anything back from the Department of Labour. And then through a source of theirs, they heard that the tender was cancelled. And as of the beginning of April, they have no more funding from the department. And Mr. Botha says, as of yet, they haven't had any communications. They've tried to reach the ministry itself to speak to the minister to find out what's going on. And he says right now the situation looks dire because their future is very, very uncertain.
Mariska, did you actually speak to those that attended these workshops, and did they tell you of the impact closure would have on their lives going forward?
Yes, we spoke to several people who are employed. One of them is 52-year-old Michael Kotu. He weaves baskets from cane, and it's quite interesting to see the process that he goes through making this basket, completely reliant on his hands. And you would think that he has done this since birth. That's how good he is at this. And they make the most beautiful furniture and baskets from cane. And Michael says the most important thing for him is that he can retain his independence. He was partially blind when he was born, and he went completely blind about 30 years ago, and he's been working at the Institute as a weaver for the past 18 years, and he says if it wasn't for the Institute, he wouldn't have been able to retain that independence. We also spoke to a woman named Sharon Noble. She weaves carpets and rugs, also the most intricate, beautiful work, and she's been at the Institute for 7 years, and for her too, this is a lifeline, and she says she loves being independent, she loves doing the work, and she says this helps to dispel myths about blind people, that they can also do anything that a sighted person can do, they're only blind. And they show their magnificent skills in these workshops and in the shop that they have where they sell these items off.
The SABC's Mariska Botha, thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.